From the Siouxland News Studios in HD, the Wayne State Coaches Show with Jordan Furby starts now.
How we doing, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Wayne State Coaches Show. I'm Jordan Furby, and joining us once again this week is the head coach of the Wildcat football team, Mr. Dan McLaughlin. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Jordan. Appreciate the opportunity.
Well, Coach, no easy way around it. A tough loss to Southwest Minnesota State at home last week, 55-16 loss. Looking at kind of the first half, really a fast start for both sides. In the first three possessions, there was a touchdown from one of the sides. Almost turned into a shootout right off the bat.
Well, and we kind of anticipated that. They have the best offense in the league. Their quarterback is outstanding. Two very good receivers, a very good tailback, and they've scored on everybody. They hadn't scored fewer than 30 points in any game they played. And the week before us, they had over 800 total yards of offense. So we knew that they were going to score. Our question was, could we slow them down a little bit? We knew we couldn't stop them. Well, could we slow them down enough and then answer ourselves? They got the first drive and scored, converted 2 fourth downs. Their touchdown actually came on a 4th down. And then we answered right away. And so I thought that this was going to be one of those heavyweight fights where whoever punches the last time is going to win. They went down and scored again. We went 3 and out and punted. And then things started to snowball a little bit. They scored, I think, on 5 of their first 6 possessions or something like that. But the real backbreaker for us, again, was the turnovers. We stopped them in the second quarter, and we went down and kicked a field goal. We stopped them again, and it looked like maybe where our defense was kind of catching up and coming around. And right at the end of the half, we throw an interception, and they got a touchdown on the last play of the first half. And then first play of the third quarter was a pick six, or the first series of the third quarter was a pick six for them, and those 2 touchdowns were really the backbreakers.
And then you mentioned a little bit in the first half, you guys did cut it to a 2-possession game, 21-10, and then in 2 minutes, they kind of almost was the backbreaker, and that's just not something you want for a team, especially a young team, and especially going into the half of just having to be down. I think it was 34-10
yeah,
at halftime. And that's got to take a lot of wind out of your sails.
And that's exactly what happened. And it's exactly the balloon deflated, and again, because of turnovers, and it's just been a thorn in our side since the beginning of the season. The 2 games that we really haven't turned the ball over, we've won. The games, and I don't know that not turning the ball over against Southwest made a difference of 30-some points or whatever it was, but absolutely it was the key to the game. And as you said, those 2 quick touchdowns really broke our backs.
Now, touch on a little bit just quickly here. When that kind of happens, what's your message to the team in the locker room at halftime? I mean, it's got to be tough. That you kind of probably see a little bit of demoralizing. But what's your message to the team in the halftime when that happens?
Small victories. Small victories. You got to keep fighting. You got to keep punching, and small victories. Let's stop them. Let's get them stopped, and let's get a score ourselves. And let's get ourselves back into the game. It was a 3-score difference, 34-10 difference at halftime. And so if we can, and we were getting the ball, and so if we can do something here right away, we can get ourselves back in this and make it a fight. And unfortunately, we got the pick 6 right away, the first possession of the third quarter, and then it was over. And but again, you continue to, you don't say that on the sidelines. You don't say, well, the game's over. You just you look for small victories. Let's get them stopped. Let's get something ourselves. Let's work on running the ball. Let's do things better and continue to, as you said, it's a young team. We've got to continue to work to get better and continue to keep their heads up. One thing I was proud of the kids, they didn't quit. They continued to fight and continue to play hard. And we'll get through this. It's just people look at challenges and obstacles, and we look at them as opportunities, and it's an opportunity to get better. And we'll continue to work at it, and we'll get better.
Absolutely. Very well said. Well, coming up next, we'll take a look at the second half action, plus get Coach's thoughts on the game. We'll also see what else is going on with Wayne State Athletics in Wayne State 360, presented by Northeast Nebraska Insurance. Plus, we'll preview today's opponent. Please stay with us.
Siouxland News presents the Wayne State Coaches Show on Fox 44. Brought to you by the Diamond Center, State National Bank, Pack and Save, The Max, Arnie's Ford, Michael Foods, Northeast Nebraska Insurance, and Wayne State College and the Wayne State Foundation.
And welcome back to the Wayne State Coaches Show. We're here with Coach Dan McLaughlin talking about the Cats' 55-16 loss to Southwest Minnesota State. Coach, looking at the second half here, it just seems like you said that the trend kind of keeps continuing. More turnovers, like you said, right off the bat in the second half. The pick six kind of makes it 41-10. You guys do respond well, though. I mean, Zach Osborne had a really nice pass to Cole McDaniel on the following possession to make it 41-16, but they kind of just add 2 more turnovers, and that would kind of be the end result of the game. Obviously, the score kind of says a lot, but what were some small victories that you kind of saw in the second half with the team? You mentioned earlier, I think, that they didn't quit.
Well, they didn't quit. They continued to play hard, and you know, the game plan going in was to try and dominate the ball ourselves to keep their offense off the field. And we wanted to win the time of possession battle. Obviously, we had to win the turnover battle, and we had to get some first downs and you know, maintain possession of the ball. Well, we did win the possession battle.
Yeah.
Well, we did equal them in first downs. Unfortunately, we turned the ball over, and that was, you know, that kind of negates everything else. But we were able to move the ball up and down the field. We had a couple of very long drives that kept their offense off the field. Unfortunately, they scored so quickly that it really, you know, somebody said, Mike Leach, I think, said that you know, time of possession is maybe the most overrated statistic in football, and that certainly proved it on Saturday because we dominated the time of possession and they dominated the score. So there's no way around it. You can't hide from it. So we've got to accept it and just move on, get better.
And it seems that kind of ironic, maybe just coincidental recent trend of playing better on the road versus at home kind of continues. We're still looking for that first victory at Cunningham Field this year.
Yeah, and that's it's unfortunate with the new stadium and the new field, and we've had great crowds. People have been very supportive, which is another positive thing. Very pleased with that and very gratified by that. Yeah, we just need to do a better job at home. We've always played well on the road, and we'll find out this week if that continues. But yeah, we need to get a win at home, that's for certain.
Yeah, and it's got to be a little frustrating too. It's almost like a Jekyll and Hyde kind of team where you've got moments of greatness, but then there's sometimes where you almost shoot yourself in the foot a couple times.
Well, that's absolutely true, and you know, we keep hurting ourselves with mistakes and especially turnovers. That's the biggest thing, and we've got to overcome that, and we'll continue to work on it and continue to get better and continue to stress it.
And I guess I kind of like the comparison you said. You know, time of possession can be a really overrated stat because you look at teams that are quick strike offenses like the Oregons or how Texas Tech used to be, and this is almost, it seems like very, very similar to how Southwest Minnesota State was. They, before you kind of even knew it, were already up really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. They do a great job, and their offense is outstanding. They're fun to watch. We've obviously got to make some adjustments and get that corralled, but we need to take care of our offense ourselves, and until we get that done, we're going to be in some trouble. So we've got to secure the football, and we've got to be able to finish on the other end.
Alrighty, well, coming up after the break, we'll go over the final stats of this game and get Coach's thoughts coming up. Stay tuned. And welcome back. Time now to look at the final stats of the game versus Southwest Minnesota State. Coach, the one victory, I guess, was time of possession, but we kind of have already touched on that a little bit. Looking at the final yardage, 501 to 376 was the output. 176 yards rushing. I guess the good thing to see, we were talking about during the break, was that Charlie Davidson had a really nice return game. It had been a couple games since he had scored a touchdown. He had 29 carries for 138 yards and a score. And another good night from a couple of your defenders, Nick Monzu and Zach Bierman. Monzu had 10 tackles, again, his second game of double-digit tackles, and Bierman also playing well, getting 8 tackles. I mean, the small victories, I guess, in a loss like this.
Yeah, it was good to get Charlie back and get him back, you know, running the ball and doing a good job there. No turnovers there, no fumbles or anything. I thought our offensive line played well, and you know, so we just you know, we didn't throw the ball real well. We didn't catch it really well. Tonev Abraham had a thumb problem that caused him some issues that he wasn't able to get the production that he normally gets. Defensively, as you said, Nick had a lot of tackles. I thought Zach Bierman played really well. We had a couple of Jeff Vandentop had another very good game. Nate Krupa is a kid who came off the bench and played well as a will linebacker. So there's some bright spots. There's things to build on. There's a reason to go back to work and you know, look forward to coaching these kids and getting better.
And one of those themes to work on. kind of has been a recurring theme every week is the turnovers, especially this week. You had 3. They didn't have a single turnover, and I think that's a big key of the game. And they also got 21 points off of that. What do you kind of tell the guys as far as working on that? I mean, every coach would love to see a no turnover game, but what's the big point of emphasis? I mean, is it ball security? What do you kind of stress with the team with this?
Well, we try to make it an issue at practice in both ways. We ask our defense to try and strip the ball at every opportunity, to try to take it away from us offensively at every opportunity, even if a kid is walking back to the huddle, try and chop the ball out. Offensively, obviously, is take care of the ball. We really stress taking care of the ball, asking the quarterbacks to make good decisions, not throw the ball into traffic, try and read coverage, see where the underneath things are, and not panic and just put the ball up for grabs. And we continue to work on that and continue to try to put them in positions where they're stressed and they have to make good decisions, or it becomes obvious that they didn't with the turnover. And we do that every night in practice. We'll continue to do that, and just hopefully they'll get better at it.
Well, Coach, we're 6 games through an 11-game season, a little more than halfway. So far, I mean, obviously we still have stressed some things to work on. What do you kind of see in this team heading into the backstretch of the season?
Well, the talent is there, and so it's on me and us as coaches to get that fixed, to do a better job. It's just plain and simple. It's not a lack of ability or a lack of trying. It's just something that we've got to overcome, and we'll continue to work at it. But the kids are working hard, and they're trying, and we're continuing to try hard, and we just got to see some results at the end.
It's almost the Thomas Edison kind of thing. You have a million ways to kind of make something work, but once it finally clicks, it's going to be interesting to see what could all happen when the pieces all start falling together.
Well, absolutely, and we just hope it happens fairly soon, or it's going to make an old man a lot older.
Coach, we'll preview today's opponent coming up in just a little bit, but Wayne State 360 presented by Northeast Nebraska Insurance is coming up next. Don't go away.
Wayne State 360, a look at what's going on all around the Wildcat campus. Brought to you by Northeast Nebraska Insurance.
And welcome back. Time now to spotlight Scott Kneiffel's nationally ranked volleyball team. The Wildcats had a tough week last week, but really when you look at the schedule, you can kind of blame them there. They now sit 13-5 on the season after going 1-2 last week. Just an absolutely brutal schedule. They fell to number 8, Nebraska Kearney, 3 games to none on last week. Then they faced number 1 Concordia St. Paul, a team they actually beat earlier in the year, and they took the team to 5 sets before eventually falling 3-2. So really a good moral victory for the Cats there before eventually winning convincingly over Minnesota State 3 sets to nothing last week. They do stay put at number 15 in the coaches rankings this week. Concordia St. Paul obviously still on top. Minnesota Duluth, who will actually play here coming up this week, number 2 as well. The top 5 mostly stays the same. Wayne State does stay put at number 15. They hosted Peru State on Wednesday on a big blackout night down in Wayne. They were at Upper Iowa last night. They actually are going to join the football team in Winona this evening when they play Winona State at 6 p.m. coming up this evening. Well, back here with Coach McLaughlin. Coach, we kind of mentioned that the Wildcat volleyball team will be up in Winona with you guys. You guys also going on the road facing Winona State. 2:30 kickoff this afternoon. This is a kind of a tough team. They've really started to hit their stride too. They're coming off 4 straight wins. It's going to be homecoming. Now we talked about playing a little bit better on the road. What's going to be some of the big preparations that you guys are going to have to make preparing for this team?
Well, first of all, Winona State, prior to the North Central schools joining our league, when St. Cloud, Duluth, Augustana, and Minnesota State came into our league, that obviously made our league a lot tougher. Mm-hmm. But prior to that, Winona State had won our league like 5 or 6 years in a row. Just an outstanding program, and they've continued to be very, very good. They haven't won the league since, but they have been in the top 3 ever since. And Tom Sawyer's just done a great job there, and they continue to do well. They lost their first game this year to Bemidji State in overtime. Then they got beat at St. Cloud, and then since then have reeled off 4 straight victories. They've really kind of, as you said, hit their stride. They've done a great job, and very, very, very tough football team. Be a great challenge for us. We're looking forward to it. We've had 2 really tough ball games with them the last couple of years, and our kids are excited for the chance to play them at their place. They know it's their homecoming, and they moved the time of the game from 1 to 2:30 because they have some special things going on. So we're we're excited to see what we can do, and hopefully we'll do a better job than we've done.
It's always fun to try and knock off a team when it's their homecoming. Talk a little bit about, too, it seems like their offense is a pretty high-powered offense as well, and it could be a good test for your defense. You guys had a great game 2 weeks ago against Augustana. Maybe took a little step back last week. Are you trying to maybe take that next step forward in this game?
Absolutely, absolutely. And their offense is very, very good. They're a little more traditional. They line up and just kind of get after you. They have outstanding players. They're not as wide open or as fast-paced as Southwest was, and I think that'll help us a little bit. But their people might be better. Their offensive line is just outstanding. And, Tom does a great job with them. So our defense is going to have to step up and be ready. And like you said, if we can play like we did 2 weeks ago up at Sioux Falls, I think it'll be a very good football game.
It's always nice to go up against good and better players, because that's a good measuring stick.
Oh, absolutely. And especially for our younger kids, they see what it takes to be successful in this league, because it's a meat grinder. Every week is tough, and it's trial by fire, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right, Coach. Well, coming up next, we'll see what else is in store for Wildcat Athletics this week, plus get Coach's 3 keys to victory. It's coming up next. Taking a look at the athletic schedule for Wayne State coming up this week. Coming up tomorrow, the women's soccer team will head north to face Minot State at 1 p.m. Then next Saturday, they will go at Winona State, also a 1 p.m. kick for that one. The cross-country teams are in the NSIC Championships coming up Saturday in Sioux Falls. The women will run at 11 a.m. The men then will run at noon. The women's volleyball team this week will take on Augustana, who's now receiving votes, Tuesday, October 22nd at 7 p.m. And then they get to host number 2 Minnesota Duluth next Friday at 7 p.m. before facing St. Cloud State next Saturday, also at Rice Auditorium at 4 p.m. Now, coming up tomorrow actually is a pretty cool first-time event. It's called Meet the Cats. It's basically a new kind of meet and greet for the men's and women's basketball team. It's going to take place tomorrow starting at 4 p.m. at the Wayne Armory. Basically, you can still purchase tickets on WSCWildcats.com. That's where you can go. Tickets start at $45. They include dinner, drink tickets, and even a nice basketball shirt. You'll get to get a chance to kind of hear from both of the coaches and what to expect for the upcoming season. And also this year, a guest speaker and kind of a familiar name to Wayne State Athletics, Greg McDermott, who actually was the head coach at Wayne State from 1994 to 2000. It'll also have a silent auction. Team intros will begin at 5 o'clock. Of course, then the dinner and Greg McDermott Q&A coming up from 5:30 to 7. So obviously a great event going to be going on coming up tomorrow. Coach, coming back here, game today at 2:30 versus Winona State up in Winona, Minnesota. Obviously they're a high-powered team, fast team. I kind of have an idea what the first key to victory is going to be, but what are some other things that we're going to look for to try to capture that road win?
Well, yeah, obviously the first key is turnovers. So we simply cannot turn the ball over. It's been our bugaboo all year, and when you asked me for 3 keys to victory, I said turnovers, turnovers, and turnovers, and really that's it. Probably the second thing is not to give up the big play defensively. We did that a couple of times Saturday against Southwest Minnesota. Their first touchdown came on 4th down, 4th and 1 play action pass that they beat us over the top. We tried to fake punt in the middle of the field in the second half. That didn't work. And first play, they beat us over the top again with a fade route. So we can't give up a big play defensively. We've got to make them earn what they get. And then continue with the solid special teams play because of field position, and I think we've done that, and hopefully we'll continue. But it still goes back to number 1, and that's turnovers. When we haven't turned the ball over, we've actually been pretty good. And when we have, then it's obviously been a problem, and we need to continue to work on that and get better in that area.
And it's like you said, the special teams have kind of been your bread and butter, and looking at the turnovers, obviously the proof is in the pudding. When you guys don't turn the ball over, you guys have a great effort. I think it's almost like it kind of hinges on how many turnovers you do or don't make. And
I think that's absolutely correct, Jordan. And we've stressed that with the kids, and we'll continue to stress that with the kids, and hopefully we'll get better at it.
All right, Coach. Well, Winona State today, 2:30 is the kickoff set. We want to wish you best of luck before coming back home next week against Concordia St. Paul. Hopefully we can get the road win today and then get that home win next week and get that first win in Cunningham Field off our back.
Yeah, we need to get that done, absolutely. And the kids know that, but looking forward to the opportunity today against Winona. Great football team at their place, and then we'll get home against Concordia. We go on the road again the next week against now new #1 in the nation, Minnesota State Mankato. So schedule's tough for us, but we're looking forward to it.
All right, Coach, we want to appreciate you. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you next week. Go Cats.